Are you a youth? Do you currently look to live in Toronto? Are you aspiring to attend post-secondary education? Seems like the perfect American-Canadian life plan, but it may be harder to achieve than it sounds. With the housing prices in Toronto increasing rapidly, we see many young adults scrambling to find a suitable home in their early adult life. Not on HNN Marketplace. Housing, how high can it get? In this special report, we will be examining the history of housing in Toronto and its implications on the fear of the future. Before we can talk about the future of Toronto's youth and their housing, we have to talk about the past. Here's our field reporter, Kit Sandigolse.
As a homeowner living in one of the most populous cities in the north, you've probably heard of the general rule that 30% of your income is the standard amount that should be spent on housing alone, and 50% is considered dangerous and nearing eviction. But despite the many regulations and programs that Toronto has put in place for homeowners, have they really helped? One by the Toronto Foundation was supposed to record 1,000 new affordable houses to be built between 2010 and 2020, but only 103 were built by 2015. Has this been effective? You decide. Here's a projection of the 905 area housing prices for single-family homes. With this, estimates by the Huffington Post have been made under the circumstance that no plans, changes, or regulations for Toronto housing have been made. And although that eliminates cause for improvement, it is still a dreading and terrifying reality. With the trend continuing, within the next few years, Toronto will be home for the selective elite only. This begs the question, what is Toronto's ideal customer for the housing market? The ideal client for a Toronto home purchase has been estimated, and would be a permanent resident with an annual income of $87,407 yearly. As the average price for a house within the GTA is $641,617 Canadian as well. Although housing in Canada is still relatively affordable, for families of four, housing in Toronto is slowly driving new families away. Standing here outside of St. Raymond's, a school currently having its students relocated to a separate institution in order for the building to be prepared for the eventual deconstruction and construction of a condominium. And you may be asking yourself, what ways can a building be protected from the modernization of our lovely city? Well, one of the ways is through historical status. If the building is thought to have historical value and be beneficial to the history of Toronto, it is considered of historical relevance and is placed under the protection of the city, meaning it cannot be deconstructed in order for it to be replaced by a condominium. But should buildings be necessarily historically valued in order to be protected? No.
So as a high school student that's going to be going to university soon, what are your opinions on Toronto's current public housing and housing in general?
So I'm actually going to be living with my parents when I go to university, but I'm probably going to switch out a bit later, second, third year maybe. I'm not sure, but housing prices are pretty expensive, similar to New York, but New York's still a bit more expensive. But Toronto, like the housing, it's not really a housing crisis, but there's an issue. There aren't enough affordable houses for younger people, but it's not very affordable.
So how do you think students will combat with such housing conditions?
Well, considering the average Canadian youth student's price range, there aren't that many options for housing locally that I know of. But if you're in university, I'd recommend just living on campus or living with your parents. Those are possibly the cheapest options. But living on campus, it'll cost you a bit more, but if you use OSAP, for example, they'll help you out a lot with the fees. And if you live at home, free food, free rent.
Thank you for your answer. We'll be right back.
I'm so bored. What are you doing?
I'm on my new Game Boy Advance, now with 3D graphics. Why
Whoa.
don't you give it a shot?
So good.
New for Nintendo, it's Game Boy Advance, the advanced gaming system for the 21st century. This gaming system is the most powerful in the world because it can play in the car, school, work, the mall, road trips, car rides, bus rides, museums, funerals, conventions, and much, much more. The Game Boy also plays Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, opening to a library of over 100,000 games.
I don't even need my parents' Mercedes, but I sold it for this.
New Game Boy Advance from Nintendo, the most advanced gaming system you'll ever lay your hands on. Batteries not included.
Advance your competition.
Bird.com.
Whoa, look at those guys play. This is HNN Marketplace reporting from Hillcrest Park.
In the future, if our population continues to rise, more housing will be needed. A Toronto housing marketing prediction shows that in the spring there will be a slight depression, and then furthermore, in February and March, it will plummet even further. And then in April, there will be a growth in optimism for buyers and sellers of housing because of the upcoming elections that are occurring in July. Overall, buyers and sellers of housing will stay optimistic until July because of the new upcoming government.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning into HNN Marketplace for this special report. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Nintendo, for supporting the show.
I'm Kid Sangerville Shows, HNN News, and we're bringing you the real that happens here.
Our population, if our population continues to rise, we will need more housing.
Market. Is there a stop for? Damn it. And with Toronto raising the prices of housing every day. In order to be protected? No. Condominiums have... I think I trailed on too long, but I like the first...
Student, how do you think other students will combat with such housing?
Reading.
I don't know.
Free rent.
Thank you for your answer. We'll be right back.
Just cut it.
Oh man, I'm so bored.
Dude, why don't you just play your new